Good morning. All right, well, we're gonna see if we can combine some beans today. We've got a couple of fields that we're thinking about. We'll have to go and look at here in a little bit. It was foggy this morning, but not near as bad as the last couple of days. The boys are in school. That's good. My John Deere tech is down at the field working on our combine, so we're gonna go see what's going on and what they figure out. We were having a code about a air throttle valve position sensor or something. I don't know. It's an emissions component. It's a pain in the butt, but it should be under warranty, and they're out looking at it, and we're gonna go figure out what's going on. Hopefully the codes go away. So this is our air throttle. He's thinking maybe something's stuck in it. I don't know. He's gonna take it apart and look and see what we can figure out, but they'll fix it. Problem located. That air actuator thing that we took out there, he took out. I didn't do any of it. He took it out. There's a like a butterfly valve in there. It's like a throttle valve, and it's got a rough spot as you move it manually. And it's like it's catching, and I'm sure that he says the computer's trying to recalibrate every time it kind of hits that and stuff, and it gets stuck a little bit, and so that's the problem. They do not have one at our local store. They had one at another branch, but it's a ways away and too late to get from there today unless somebody goes to it. But that's a 2.5 hour drive. However, the neighboring dealer to the south has one at one of their stores, so he's gonna go get it. This guy's good. He's a young guy. I've never had this tech out before, but knows what he's doing. So we're gonna let him get it fixed. No big deal for me. He'll have it done before we're ready to run this morning. All right, let's get the old 40-20 out. We got some wheat to treat. We need that orange wagon. Okay. So we got all this wheat in yesterday. That's the new seed wheat, good stuff that we bought. Some of it for customers, some of it is ours. We'll sort through that, start delivering it here as we go. In fact, one of the bigger customers is coming to pick up his in the morning tomorrow, and that's, I think, 5 of those bags, so that's good. I do have one over here that's off to the side by itself. Most of all of this wheat over here came pre-treated. Came with the seed treatment already on it, which you may say, why would you do that? You have a seed treater, you can do it, right? Well, the thing is, the guy that I buy this wheat from, or that wholesales to me so that I can sell to my customers, he charges me less for treatment than I can buy the chemical for. And so it doesn't make any sense for me to have to run it through my treater to not make any money. There's no incentive whatsoever, so I have him pre-treat everything. He didn't have this one bag treated. He couldn't, for whatever reason, they didn't have it. They had already processed everything and whatever. It's not a big deal. I said, no problem, I'll treat that one. So we're gonna start with that. We got this one bag of this variety. We're gonna dump it in a box, run it through the treater, and we'll just set the box off to the side because I can't get it back into the bulk bags, but I got plenty of boxes, so that's not a problem. So we'll pick this bag up. We got lift hooks on the top, and we hang it from the forklift forks. We'll drive it over here and go put it in a box. I should shut that tractor off. We're gonna do this one before we set up our conveyor, so. Now there's a tie on the bottom, undo that, which opens up the flap. Pull this down, and then pull the spout down, and then untie this string and unwrap it, and unwrap it, and boom. Cool. Nobody likes these bags. They're terrible. When you have boxes that you can dump them into like I do, it's less bad because I can lift them high enough to do this. If your forklift was only a 2-stage forklift, you can't even lift it high enough to get them into this box. And if you don't have a box, there's no way to lift them up high enough over a wagon to dump them, and they're a real pain. So they're not my favorite. That's why a lot of people bring their wagons right to me so that I can dump them into their wagons for them. We'll do the same thing where we'll just put it in a box, and then the boxes we can lift from the bottom so we can get them up high enough to get over a wagon or a tender or whatever. Filling our mix tank here. We're going to empty that keg. Those are 30 gallons. The beans come in 15-gallon kegs. These come in 30s. I had maybe 5 gallons or so left in that one from last year that we're gonna drain it here. A lot of wheat coming out of there. Does a phenomenal job. This treater works really awesome. Anyway, we're getting our conveyor set up. We gotta get our wagon backed in here. Those bags are gonna kind of be a pain in the butt and in the way a little bit, but we'll deal with it. I'm gonna have to get rid of some pumpkins pretty soon too, so yeah, the trailer's been picked through a little bit. We've gotten some out of here. As much as I want to show off my backing up skills with a tractor and a 4-wheel wagon, we're gonna use a forklift because it's exponentially easier than with the tractor. I'm too close. Okay, I think we are set up where we need to be. I was struggling to get the depth right in and out, and so I'm going to throw some tape on the ground in front of the tires just so I have a reference line for future wagons, but we're ready to go. So the process here is we fill the box on there, kind of watch the scale on the treater, and once it gets full, we shut that off. We treat into one of these empty boxes. Process repeats until we get what we need. We need about 13,000 pounds out of that wagon treated, so that's the target. All right, well, that's what we needed, 13,000 pounds. Let's see, how close did I get? What does it say? 12,996. Ah, bummer, I was close. All right, well, yeah, that's all we're gonna treat for today. Should be good. We're gonna get some of this other stuff out of here tomorrow, but we need to go see if we can combine some beans. All right, Dad just called me. He's doing some spraying on some wheat stubble and having sprayer trouble. Can't get the boom to fold or something. I don't know. I gotta go see if I can help him or pick him up. Whoa, we got some cover crop seeding going on over there. Crop duster flying. That's interesting. I wonder who's they're doing over there. This breakaway right here, well, yeah, it's supposed to fold around back, and it's not apparently. So we gotta figure out why. I'm gonna watch it and maybe give it a push. Well, it went with a little pull. It wasn't stuck, wasn't hard. Just nudged it and it went. So interesting. All right. Well, here's today's target. There is some leaves out here, but these are, I think these will go. These are very tall, thick. Yeah, that's a small bean compared to what we have seen. Be interesting to see if these aren't quite as good over here. We're 7-8 miles from home, farther away from all the rest of the fields that we've done so far. Could be very different. Could be very different. We figure we better look over the hill into low ground and see what it looks like. They're a little yellow over there. I think they'll go. What do you think?
They look like the ones on the south side of the cap, so should go.
I think so. By the time we get over there, it'll be like 4 hours. They'll be dry by now.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we need to go move. The tech got the air actuator throttle thing replaced, and so I just got the text from the service manager, said combine's good to go. Awesome. We'll get the head unhooked here and start moving. We got to stop at home for fuel and window washing and get everything ready before we go. Do you guys remember when we were at the Farm Science Review earlier this week and we were looking at spreaders, dry spreaders? There's a reason we were looking at dry spreaders. We've been talking about buying a dry spreader for 2 or 3 years now. Well, we bought a dry spreader. It showed up this morning. Yeah, it's awesome. We ordered this a few weeks ago, a while ago, so looking at them yesterday was mostly just a teaser and comparison thing, because we had been talking about it. But yeah, this is a Salford BBI Magna Spread. It's 14-ton capacity. Technically, I think it's a 16-foot long box. It's got these brackets on the top for some sideboards. Dad's gonna make sideboards. We can do that. We have that ability. So anyway, but yeah, notice how it's got these nice tandem implement tires and axles. Like, that's what we were looking for. It sits so much lower than those single axles with the big tractor type tires on them. So that's important for us for load height, because we intend to load this with our 7520 with a loader and a bucket on it, and so height becomes a bit of a concern. So anyway, that's why we went with this model. It seems to be really nice. It's stainless steel box and everything with painted frame underneath. It's got those motors up top like we talked about. Like, she's gonna be real nice. It has a self-contained hydraulic system that is PTO driven, so the PTO just powers a hydraulic pump. Then the hydraulics run the spinners, they run the belts. It is variable rate capable, so we can put different rates on. You know, it uses a John Deere rate controller, so it'll be very familiar. Just plug and play with the tractors and stuff that we've already got, so that's really nice. What else? It does not have a multi-applier. It does not have a dual bin. That was something that we were really debating back and forth about, was, do we go with the low load height of the Salford, the BBI spreader that we really like the looks and design of, or do we go with the dual bin capability that the Unverfirth offered us, which was kind of the other consideration here. And then the issue became that stuff. So we've got some lime piled over there, and we've got to spread lime with it, and switching back and forth between lime and fertilizer with the Unverfirth is a little more difficult, because the multiplier, or the dual product bin, from what I was told, has to come out to do lime. Well, that's a pain in the butt. And so there's a little bit of setup stuff, but nothing major. It can be done in a few minutes, where we can switch back and forth between spreading lime and spreading fertilizer. And so that's what we decided to go with. So there's the inside of the box. Should hold a lot. Let us get stuff done pretty quickly. And yeah, it does have a scale on it, so we can use that to calibrate and make sure our rates are right, which will be really handy. There's some adjustment here with this handle for the gate opening. You open it different amounts for fertilizer versus lime. There's a adjustment here for where this stuff falls on the spinners. It affects your spread pattern and all kinds of that stuff. There's lots to it. They're going to come out next week and help us dial this thing in. We did also consider self-propelled, looked at those a little bit, used self-propelled spreaders. The problem was they were a little bit more money. Some of them were reasonable and not a ton more money than this, but they were used with 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 hours on them, and the amount of corrosion and just rust on everything. And I get it, it's a fertilizer spreader, that's what happens. But they looked terrible. And so we kind of made the decision that we've got a tractor, we can do this. You know, you get a little bit bigger capacity with a pull type versus a self-propelled. It just made more sense to go this route. So it is a brand new one, and I'm looking forward to it. We're gonna save a ton of money on fertilizer and the lime and stuff, and the application charges. This thing will pay for itself in 2 or 3 years just on the cost savings alone. So plus the record keeping side of it, I'll be able to keep the records better and actually get them and be able to do some trial work. And yeah, looking forward to being able to utilize that in our operation and make it pay for itself. So Monday they're coming out to help us get it dialed in with some lime over there. We don't have any fertilizer yet, and that is another thing, is that we are going to have to invest a little bit more into some fertilizer support stuff, whether that's putting up a building to store it, or conveyors or something, or trailers. I don't know. That's also why we have a wet kit on the new semis, because if we happen to get a dump trailer, that will allow us to run it. Fueled up, deffed up, windows are clean. Time to go combine beans. Back in the combine seat and in a bean field. Let's go. So this is where Dad and I looked earlier today. These are 2674s, a 2.6 variety. We have run a few of these already. Dad ran them. They were kind of the field that I started in yesterday was the variety that he had run of that field. So they were really, really good there. And we'll see what they do here. Now we are 7 or 8 miles from the other cluster and group of fields that we have combined so far. Rainfall very much could have been different. And so we'll see what these beans do. Right now they're not as good, but that's still pretty darn good. If we're above 60, or even somehow hit 70 in this field, I think we'll all be feeling really, really good. So we will see. One other little interesting tidbit that we'll find out in this field. I was talking to a neighbor, a friend of mine this morning, about the bean yields and if they were as surprised as I have been and what they're seeing. And they had a group of 3 separate fields that had kind of gotten combined a few years ago. And 2 of those 3 fields are very well tiled, pattern tiled. The other one has a few random strings where the worst spots are. And what they told me was that the 2 that were pattern tiled were excellent beans. The one that was not, when they combined this whole field, was much lower yield, poorer, and it made a difference. And I can see that where the wet weather that we had early when we were planting, the tile could have made a huge difference. And so I got to thinking about what we have combined, and basically everything we've done up to this point has been pattern tiled, good ground that we've well drained anyway. Maybe not the most productive ground, but well drained. This field that we're in right now is not. We do not own this farm. It's very rolling. It's got wet spots that we planted around. There are a few string of tile, but not nearly what it needs. And so if what they're seeing holds true, these beans shouldn't be anywhere close to as good as what we've seen everywhere else. We'll find out in a couple hours. Well, it's going well here. Beans are just about the perfect moisture. Around here is averaging 13%. That's ideal. 66, 67 on the yield monitor. I'm thrilled with that. So we'll see. There's going to be some better beans. There's going to be some worse beans. You can see on the yield map over here, it's highly variable. We've got green, we've got orange and red and yellows, and it's going to be a little more inconsistent than what we have seen. So Brock is here this afternoon. He's running grain cart for us in these longer rows and going to keep things moving. There's about 71 acres in this field total. We should be able to get it done just fine. I don't think the tech fixed our combine because while it's not yelling at me the whole time, I still got a little flashy light over there that I don't like, and it's the same code that does come up when something does. So we'll see. I'll let them know. It doesn't seem to be affecting too much except for when I get into really heavy beans. Yeah, that code. Into really heavy beans, unloading on the go, we seem to run out of power. And we shouldn't run out of power. It's definitely derating us a little bit. So that's frustrating, but we'll keep her going. They'll get it fixed. Think we'll get stuck driving through this wet hole? Brock's driving into me for no reason. Like, get up there where we have stuff. We're not even unloading yet. Yeah. The machine sync is great, but when the auto steer is not on, gosh, Brock, we're too close to run it when the auto steer's not on. There we go. Okay, we didn't get stuck. I was trying to make a joke there, and then I got distracted, or I had to pay attention more so, because it was a wet hole that we had to plant around this spring because it was too wet to plant. But it hasn't rained here in a month, so nothing's wet anymore. We could get through anything we want. You guys aren't gonna believe this, but it's almost dark over there. We might. That's not gonna happen. Maybe we'll get rained out today. We'll take it if we do. My Green Mark tech is back out here looking into that code some more, and he's going to try and recalibrate the new valve body throttle thing that they put on. He said maybe the calibration didn't take. That seems to be the problem. So he's working on that. We're going to get out and check our losses and look behind the combine here and see if we got any beans laying on the ground. So this is close to the middle of a pass. We're just off to the side a little bit, but we have a bean. There's one. One is no problem, and this is 2 or there's another one. But this is 2 or 3 square feet. There's one. I would call that 1 per square foot. Let's check out here on the edges. Let's see if we're just throwing them to the outside so much that they're not laying in the middle there. I see 0. Oh, there's one. It's 3 per square foot, per every square foot, to equal 1 bushel loss per acre. We're doing okay. Call it 1/3 of a bushel or less. So I think these beans are a little bit smaller size than what we have been running. That'll happen when you have dry weather late in the growing season. The beans just don't get as big. That seems what it looks like to me. But that's why the yield's off 10 bushel from what we have been. They're still dang good beans. I'm not complaining. That's why. Maybe I should go pick on my grain cart operator for not getting out and checking the combine operator's losses for him. Should I do that? You guys will probably yell at me for being too mean to Brock. They're dry. Hey, how come you don't get out and check the combine losses for the combine operator? It's your job.
Was it?
Yeah.
Nice shirt.
Yeah. So everybody saw your post on Facebook and thinks you're leaving me now.
On Facebook? Oh.
I've had half a dozen people tell me, is Brock quitting? Is he done working for you?
No.
No. You want to tell everybody?
Yeah, that's the full-time fire and paramedic position.
Brock's a full-time firefighter now.
Yeah.
In the big city.
Yeah. Yeah. Big city.
Anyway, he's working on my combine. So Brock's just racking up hours on my tractor for no reason. We probably hit 1,000 today. We were at 991 yesterday. It's probably not quite there yet, but we're going to turn 1,000 hours on the 8RX today.
Time to trade it in.
Yeah. It's probably still worth what we paid for it. No, equipment market's dropping fast now. A year ago, it was still worth what we paid for it. I don't know about now. Well, we're still waiting on this calibration to work. If you listen real quiet, real quiet, you can hear it. It's starting to rain. Some sprinkles coming. That's okay. We'll take it. We get rained out, we'll be just fine, but it's going to have to rain harder than it is right now for us to get rained out. Although it doesn't take a lot when you're combining beans. All right, well, that killed an hour and didn't solve our problem. So here's what the situation is. One, it rained enough to say that it sprinkled. Not enough to, even knock down the dust. So we're going to keep running here. There is still a chance that it rains. I got to get my machine sink turned on for Brock. There we go. Sorry, bud. Essentially what's going on is we put that new air throttle actuator in. That's what it's called. It's an air throttle actuator valve. And it needs a new calibration because you put a new one in. And he thought he had gotten it calibrated this morning, but the calibration did not take. It's basically his service advisor computer is locking up and it's freezing and it's a computer issues. And he said they've been having some computer issues with some of the text computers or whatever. So he had problems with it yesterday, thought they had them fixed, and he's still having more problems today, apparently. So they're going to try and send somebody else out with a different computer tomorrow morning, and hopefully that fixes our issue. In the meantime, we keep running, doing what we can. It's just we're a little short on power. That's really the only effect that it's given me, is that we don't have the amount of power that we're supposed to. So we'll deal with it. It'll be fine. Beans are nice and dry. Well, I shouldn't say that. The beans are mostly nice and dry. There are some green ones, but we'll deal with it. It'll be fine. Maybe it'll rain. The rain is kind of trying to come. It's still not really raining, but we've gotten enough. Like, I don't know, can you see it on the windshield, inside windows there? We're gonna call it. They're not feeding in very good. Things are getting tough. It's not working real good here. So we got 37 acres done. It's fine. We'll finish it tomorrow. It's not like we have a bunch of beans ready to go anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and get unloaded and shut it down. Yeah, definitely got rain picking up. The platform's wet. You can see the water. Oh, there's still. Yeah, now it's legit raining. So good. I don't know if we'll get much. We could use I mean, we could use as much as we could take. We could soak up 2 inches, no problem right now if we could get it. But even a ½ inch would go a long ways to getting our wheat to start growing. So we'll see. There was just a little cell around here. You saw it on the radar there this afternoon. There's more chances of rain. I thought over the weekend. I don't think it's supposed to rain tomorrow or first of next week. I don't think it's supposed to rain tomorrow, but we'll see. So we're going to tarp the truck and head for home. Even if we had not shut down for an hour to screw around trying to fix combine that we still didn't fix, we would not have gotten this field done, so it didn't really cost us anything. Okay, like I said, it didn't rain much. We had 3/100ths of an inch here, so not enough to matter, but enough to keep us out of the beans for the rest of today. So tonight there is a home high school football game at my kids' school. I like to take them to a game a year just to kind of get them interested and go see stuff. So we're gonna do that tonight, I guess. They said they wanted to go, so they're with my wife at my mother-in-law's. So I think I either got to go get them or I don't know. We'll figure that out. But thanks for watching today. Sort of exciting. We got this new spreader. We're gonna be working tomorrow, but I've got a lot of other things going on tomorrow, including another wedding to go to. So I don't know if I'm gonna be working tomorrow. So may or may not be a video. We'll see. I got a guy coming in the morning to pick up some wheat, and then got soccer games, and then wedding, and yeah. So Dad may finish that field over there for me, but we'll be keeping going with harvest here. Thanks for watching. Oh, Farm Focused is having a sale on merchandise over there. If you go to farmfocused.com/borderviewfarms/BVF something. You can find my stuff. You can go to borderviewfarms.com, and there's a link that will get you straight there. Sorry, my camera's dirty. There you go. Harvest 24 is the code, and you get 24% off. That's a pretty good deal, so go check it out. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend. We might see you tomorrow. We might not see you tomorrow. We'll see you sometime. Maybe I'll do a live stream if I won't have time for that. It's on my mind. We'll get to a live stream. Have a good one.